along side by side.
Welcome to Travel Buddies Excellent Adventures. Hi, my name is Bill. We're out to, Claudia and I, the co-creators of our site, are interested in focusing on travel tips for seniors, especially those seniors that are working off a limited income as we are. So we want to make the most of our dollars, and we need to plan ahead and be careful what we obligate ourselves to. So the topic of this video will be 5 things seniors on a limited budget should consider for an escorted tour. So part of that, number 1, is as you're reviewing different options, look at the degree of difficulty of the tour itself. If it looks like they're gonna try to get you to do bungee cording or hike up big mountains, that may not be the tour that you may wish to go on, but it may be not the one that you can go on just due to your own health and physical limitations. So consider that. Number 2, save as much of the money as you can before you contract for a tour. That is because there are hidden costs everywhere. So due to our experience, we're finding out there's, even though a package budget tour is about $2,500 a piece for us, for our European tour, realize that that tour is going to be an orientation tour more than a sightseeing tour of discrete locations and attractions. So they're going to get you someplace, walk you around at most places, and in tour parlance, this is called not visiting a site, but it's called viewing a site. So when you see the word viewing, let that be a trigger that you're not going inside. There may be admission fees that they're not going to pay for, and they may not have the time in the schedule for you to actually go do an in-depth view of that particular site. Now, if they talk about visiting a site, like the Basilica in Rome and a few other key museums that have admission fees, those are going to be the sites where the tour company will make sure that you have tickets and a reservation so you can access and spend some time in there. Actually, the way these are set up, it appears to me, they give you an orientation tour at every major spot you're at, and they usually allocate some time, free time, either a half a day or whatever the case may be on the tour schedule. So you can visit some places more in depth. So that's a real key thing to keep in mind. But it also means you're going to spend extra money. If you want to go to a famous museum that has an admission fee, you may find yourself standing in line for a couple hours before you ever get your ticket. So in those instances where you know it's a heavy traffic site, you're going to have to be smart enough to get online and track down a reservation website for that particular site. Make your decision at what time period you want to go, and a lot of that time period depends on the tour itself, how much free time and what block of time they're allocating. So we're finding out we're not really going to know that detail of information until the tour company itself sends us more information about our booking, probably less than 2 months before the trip. So keep that in mind. Okay, let me go back to the saving the money you need. Like I said, our tour is about $2,500, and then I've estimated we're going to need probably another 50% of that initial package price as discretionary spending money. Now, that discretionary spending money will need to go into possibly your food if you budget that way. But it will involve any of the attractions that are paid attractions that you need to go to, and any bus or subway costs that you'll have to get to and from a particular site. So on one hand, the organized escorted tour, the budget tour, is good because you get a quick overview of every place that you're going, and then you get a little free time to explore a little more. Go find that little cafe or that little retail shop off the tourist path that may be of more interest to you. Now, in terms of budgeting for food, let me tell you what I did. I calculated how many meals the description in the itinerary would cover. And they will usually say breakfast, buffet, and a dinner, something like that. So what I did was to take, I just created a spreadsheet, figured out how many meals out of our 14-day tour, plus the days before and after the tour, how many of those days are actually covered by group meals with the tour, and how many of those meals are our responsibility. I came up with a figure of 65% of the meals are covered by the tour. So that leaves for us about actually 31 meals, mostly all lunches and a couple dinners and breakfasts on either side of it, that we will be responsible for. Now what I did, I came up with my own little idea of a equation. You take the price of your tour package, you multiply it times 50%. That would give me, in my example, it's $2,500 for the tour. Multiply that times 50%, and that's $1,250. So I have to add that into the price of the tour package. Now on top of that, I calculated what our meals were going to cost at an average of $10 a meal. And that came out to $310. 31 meals times 10. So I have to add that figure also in to the budget for the entire tour. So that left us with essentially a budget of $4,060. Now that sounds like it's, a third again is more expensive than the tour, and we weren't really ready for that extra sticker shock. But it's all about being aware of what you're doing, and we just didn't fully comprehend what the extras are going to cost. So the simple equation then is cost of your tour package times 50% plus that discretionary 50% plus the cost for the meals that you're responsible for. So now let's move on to another topic. Actually, I think I got through all my topics. There's 5 of them in there. So let me just review those again. Consider the difficulty of the tour itself. Is it going to be more adventurous, more strenuous on your health and your physical well-being? Save the money that you need for the tour before you go diving into signing a contract. So that means a little bit of impulse control. We have to wait, especially on limited funds, limited income. We have to accrue our money over several months or a year to be able to afford to do the whole package the right way. Number 3, consider all the hidden charges that are included that I've explained. The tickets, the reservations are not necessarily provided for by the tour on most of these sites that you want to go to. Those will be on your free time, and you'll have to budget in some money for that. That could run anywhere from $20 to $50 a person per the event. It could be as low as maybe $16, $18. Okay, and then my simple equation. Then the cost of the food. Take a figure, and we'll refine this as we're on the trail. Start out with something like $10 a meal and calculate how much extra you need for the meals. And then a simple equation to just keep all this stuff wrapped up in a tidy little package. Take your cost of the tour, take 50% of that for discretionary spending, add to that the money that you think you're going to need $10 times 31 meals not covered by the tour. Calculate that in, and that will give you a total budget picture of what you're actually going to need for this trip. Now, I've also decided that, we're going to work at what we can. We want to have a nice meal out here and there away from the group, and there are things we're going to want to do on the side. So it's just a matter of deciding what your priorities are. And remember, whatever you buy over there, you're going to have to get back to the States. And we tend to be the kind, we're going to travel with one carry-on bag and a messenger bag to hold things we need during the day for our trips. So just consider those issues. I guess another issue we could throw in here is a camera. I'm a kind of a high-tech kind of guy. So what I'm filming this on is actually a Samsung Galaxy Note 8 that I recently purchased. But that was an extra expense I got because we were heading on this tour. So think ahead before you decide your total budget. What upgrades and equipment do you want to take? Do you want to carry your big old DSLR camera, or you want to do a pocket camera? Or like I'm doing, I'm using a smartphone with an excellent camera on it. So consider all those as part of your cost that you need to budget into your trip. That'll, I think, save you a lot of headache. If you do all that planning ahead of time, schedule out when you want to buy certain things, and build up your reservoir of travel items as you approach a time when you can go ahead and make the commitment for the tour. All right. Well, that's going to do me for this episode of Travel Buddy's Excellent Adventures. And please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. There will be a little icon pop up that you can press for subscribe. And if you want to subscribe to our newsletter, On the Go newsletter, go to travelbuddies.me, and you'll find a subscription button or a page labeled subscribe. Go ahead and fill out the form and let us know of your interest, because our aim is to help start providing information to segments of our viewing public and try to give them information that relate to the kind of travel they would like to do. So, bon voyage, folks. Let's the key thing here is to have fun, okay? So get some of these Mickey Mouse mechanical things out of the way. So when you're overseas, you know what you're doing. You got a good idea where you're at, and you'll be able to enjoy your adventure much like Claudia and I plan on having an excellent adventure. So have a good day, folks. See you later.